Live, local, and talking about the teams that matter to you. This is Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Brought to you by McMahon's Best One Tire and Auto Care.
Good morning and welcome to Talkin Sports, the first November edition of Talkin Sports. Well, because it's the 2nd of November. But welcome in to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One. That's DC Hendricks over there. It's Jim Shovlin over here. We are going to talk some local sports of all sorts until the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. And then at 10 o'clock, we'll give way to the Judge Phil Houck and America's foremost authority on Notre Dame Fighting Irish football, Tim Priester. And they will give you, of course, Fighting Irish preview. So do indeed just stick around, keep it all tuned right here to 1380 AM 100.9 FM for Fighting Irish preview and Talkin Sports before that. So welcome at big night of high school football sectional semifinals last evening all over the area. It was win or go home, and half the teams are packing up their equipment, cleaning it off, and getting it ready for next year. And, well, let's go to the Talkin Sports phone line, because patiently waiting on that Talkin Sports phone line, powered by Fire Police City County Federal Credit Union, is one Mr. Justin Kinney from OPS and OutsideTheHuddle.net. Good morning, Justin.
Good morning, fellas.
Well, did you attend a game last night?
I was actually at home last night. I was told in no uncertain terms on Thursday, after working late hours most of the week and working all day tomorrow, that I better be home on Friday night. Mm-hmm. So I took that as I should be home on Friday night. Yeah.
You've been married long enough to know,
I know
directives such as that.
The subtlety or lack thereof, we understand that.
Indeed, but I'm sure you had your finger on the pulse of high school football throughout the region last night. And let's talk about these games. Let's start out in 6A, Sectional 2. Snyder, a 14-7 victory over Elkhart. And, Elkhart came in 8-1 and provided all kinds of competition for the Panthers.
Yeah, Elkhart's a really, really good team, guys. And these two teams almost mirror images of each other heading in. A really, really good defense, an offense that maybe could be good at times but also struggled at times. Points were going to be at a premium in this one, and it turned out to be the case. And I think while it wasn't the game-winning score, I think what set the tone and was the difference for Snyder was the early pick six by Brandon Logan to get Snyder ahead 7-0. Elkhart would tie it after a long punt return, put them into good field position, and then Snyder scored in the fourth quarter to really win this one. But I don't think Snyder wins this game without Brandon Logan's early pick six. It really set the tone. He then had a blocked field goal later on. And, top flight athletes always come through or seem to come through when the moments are biggest. And Brandon Logan, the commit to Notre Dame, really had one of those moments, one of those games last night.
And any word, anything that you heard about him getting a little dinged up a little bit?
I haven't heard anything this morning. Hopefully it's nothing too major because of such an important game coming up against Carroll. But hopefully you'll get an update in the near future from Coach Tippin, or hopefully it's just something that he can recover from this weekend, be ready to go to prepare for the Chargers coming up next Friday.
And speaking of the Chargers, Carroll, a 48-18 winner over the Northrop Bruins. Carroll now 8-2 on the season. They will host the Panthers on Friday night. So that's the Sectional 2 championship matchup between those two teams, and it's always a Donnybrook when those two get together. And then, of course, in Sectional 4 in Class 6A, Fishers beats Noblesville 31-21, and they will meet Hamilton Southeastern. The Royals were victorious over the Homestead Spartans last night, 20-17, ending the Spartans season.
A tough end to the season for Homestead. We knew, with that sectional, when they realigned and having to go south with Fishers and Noblesville and Hamilton Southeastern, it was going to be tough. But Homestead put up a really, really good fight last night. I was really impressed with what the Spartans were able to do, and this game was in doubt throughout the entire 4 quarters. Hamilton Southeastern 2 weeks ago had beaten number 1 Brownsburg, and so they are obviously really good. And Homestead had a great showing. I felt like they played to the max of their ability last night, and that's all you can ask for as a coach. Unfortunately, they were just matched up against a better team.
Although I do want to go back to Sectional 2 and the Carroll Chargers' victory over Northrop, but Will Jeffries from Carroll, 3 touchdowns, 176 yards rushing. DeJuan Green, 175 yards and a touchdown. This is a running back factory all of a sudden.
Yeah, it was a great night for Will Jeffries. We know him as being a linebacker the last couple of years for Carroll, but recently has gotten more opportunities behind Jimmy Sullivan in the offensive backfield. And he took made the most of it last night. You mentioned 176 yards, 3 touchdowns, 400 total yards on the ground for the Chargers last night against Northrop. They averaged 8.5 yards per attempt last night, and they really took control of this game early, whereas was up 21-0 at the end of the first quarter and cruised. So Carroll hopes to at least make things a little bit more difficult. Snyder hopes to make things a little bit more difficult for Carroll next week.
Yes, indeed. So heading to Class 5A, it will be Warsaw, who were victorious over Goshen last night. Goes winless Goshen, 52-7. They will take on an unbeaten Concord team who eliminated the Northside Legends last evening, 38-21 at Chambers Field.
And this was a closer game, guys, than I anticipated. It was 20-0 Concord at halftime. Concord, the number 1 team in Class 5A entering the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Northside got to within 27-21 in midway through the fourth quarter, and then Concord was able to add a touchdown and a field goal for that final margin of victory. But I thought it was a very spirited effort by Northside. They were kind of ruined by the slow start, guys, giving up 17 points in the first quarter and then not scoring their first touchdown until in third quarter when Rashawn James went in for the 1-yard touchdown. If Rashawn James also had a huge 75-yard interception return that brought the game to 27-21. I felt like if Northside didn't come out slow, this could have been a different story last night. It was a good effort by Northside, but almost too little too late. Got within 6 with about 8 minutes to go, and then Concord turned it on. So good performance for Northside for about 3 quarters, but that first quarter doomed them.
Right, and the Legends finished the season at 5-5, but 2 of those losses, one to Concord, and was it Lawrence North early?
Yeah, Lawrence North was one of the top teams in 6A.
Yeah, so I mean, no shame in that game for the Legends as far as who they faced and how they battled. Heading to Class 4A, Sectional 19, battle last night at Leo, but that party was ruined by the East Noble Knights, who shut out the Lions 21-0. Riley Biddle, what a talent that junior is behind center. Dylan Krell, my gosh, what a beast that kid is. Dallas Plattner, his, let's say, backup or running back B. There's just so much talent on that team, and that offensive line just opened up holes. It seemed like it will.
Yeah, 217 total yards on the ground for East Noble. And I kind of want to talk about that defense for East Noble. We haven't really talked about them most of the season because of the offense and what Krell's done offensively. Krell on defense has been phenomenal as well. But they just allowed 2 chunk plays by Leo last night, two 20-plus plays. I think there was a 34-yard reception by Luke Tackwell, and Nathan Foster got loose for, I think, like a 20, 25-yard run. And that was it. And Leo just could not get anything going. Constant pressure on Grayson Esquera. They picked him off 3 times. It was the East Noble defense that was really the difference. Bottled up Landon Hepner, bottled up Brock Schott as much as you can say you bottle up Brock Schott. And it was just a very, very impressive defensive performance by East Noble. And I know Leo fans were disappointed last night, but they had glowing reviews for the guy that was doing the PA, I heard.
Oh, I know him. I'm married to his wife. Yeah. Glowing? Anyway. I had the best seat in the house. Come on.
There you go.
And that was a lot of fun. Like I said, I know a lot of the kids from Leo because I coach baseball in that program. And so ideally I know a lot of these players, but East Noble was so impressive, and so many of their skill players that go both ways. And you were talking about the defense, and that includes, Krill, and that includes Biddle, that includes Trish, and guys like this. My goodness, it's just these guys didn't come off the field, and Biddle punts too. So
right, and you kind of wait. Well, eventually they're going to get wore down, and they just never seem to.
Yeah. So now East Noble 10-1 will take on Bishop Dwenger, who's now 6-5 after a 25-6 victory over the Wayne Generals. Here they go again, giving up just 6 points in 2 postseason games.
And the forward pass apparently was banned last night. -6 yards of total passing in this game last night. Nick O'Keefe only threw the ball 1 time for Bishop Dwenger. They were able to move the ball on the ground. It wasn't pretty. At times it was downright ugly, but that is when Bishop Dwenger is at their best over the years, is when they're just grinding out victories and they're demoralizing you up front and they're getting 3, 4, 5 yards a rush and you can't stop them. And that's what we've seen out of Bishop Dwenger the last couple weeks, and really took away Wayne's offensive attack and really, really commanded the line of scrimmage, commanded the clock. And it may put you to sleep at times, but it works. It's effective, and Bishop Dwenger moves on. We'll take on East Noble for that Sectional 19 championship next week, which will be at Shields Field.
Yes, indeed. In 4A Sectional 20, how about those Vikings? Huntington North now 8-3 with a 45-6 victory over Marion. And if my math is correct, that's 122 points in the last 2 weeks.
About the Huntington North Vikings, this was maybe a question mark game, only because Marion was coming off the bye, and we know how athletic Marion can be, and they're not in the best football conference. So you look at 5-4 and say, okay, maybe they're decent, maybe they're not. But Huntington North took no doubt in this game, and really in the first quarter just dominated. Scored the first, I think, 4 touchdowns of the game before Marion got on the board. And Huntington came early in the season, which was really closer than we kind of appreciated. And now Huntington North, they get to go to Lebanon next week and try to win a sectional championship. And who had that on their bingo card to start the season?
Yeah, Lebanon 35-28 over Logansport, and Logansport came into that one 9-1 on the season. Of course, Lebanon no slouch either. They now are 9-2, so should be a dandy at Lebanon next Friday. So moving on to Class 3A Sectional 26, the Garrett Railroaders just keep on grinding it out, 42-13 over a good Tip Valley team. Tip Valley now ends their season at 7-4, but Garrett unblemished at 11-0, and this collision course that we all quietly talked about is coming to fruition in the postseason as well.
Yeah, here we are with Garrett and West Noble prime for round 2, and this game will be at West Noble next week. It's an impressive win for Garrett on the road. I don't know what else can impress us at this point with Garrett, but he felt like Tippecanoe Valley was a good enough team to keep this one close. Garrett erased all doubt in this one in the first half, and then Seth Pruitt keeps on rolling with 4 more touchdowns on the ground last night against Fairfield, and it sets up that pivotal matchup for a sectional championship. And Garrett won round 1 in the regular season. West Noble really couldn't move the ball on the ground, which is their forte. Can the Chargers figure it out and potentially pull the upset and win their first ever sectional championship next week.
And the intrigue here as well, the teams come in with a combined one loss between them, and that was in the game that they played earlier in the season when Garrett beat West Noble. So something had to give there. So this should be quite a classic matchup here. And in sectional 28 in 3A, Bishop Luers 41-8 over Jay County, and they are now 7-4. They will face a unblemished Mississinewa team who beat Delta last night 21-7. Mississinewa with a very staunch team defense.
Mississinewa is legit, and they are for real, and they will come to Luers Field next week for the sectional 28 championship. Good performance out of Bishop Luers, which is what we expected last night. Just Jay County can't match up to the players of Bishop Luers. Jace White, Devin Patterson combined 10 of 13, 137 yards and a touchdown. No interceptions for the second straight week for those quarterbacks at Luers. That's going to be key going forward. 5 rushing touchdowns, 2 each by D. Hogue and Jacob Felger. A reception for a touchdown by Evan Wilkins. Just a good performance by Bishop Luers last night, but the challenge escalates immeasurably heading into next week with undefeated Mississinewa.
Now moving on to Class 2A sectional 35, it's going to be ACAC versus the Northeast Corner Conference when Adams Central and Eastside collide. The Flying Jets 35-8 over Cherubusco to run their record to 10-1.
Yeah, this was as expected, guys, when you look at Adams Central and just how powerful they are. I thought the Cherubusco put up a good fight, but still allowed 320 yards of total offense. Matt Heiser, 131 yards, 3 touchdowns. You looked at Jamison Roach, who had 3 completions, 1 for a touchdown, all 3 completions in the score to Braylon Reber. And Cherubusco just really couldn't match up with Adams Central in the trenches. And then conversely, when you look at Eastside, this was a team that midway through the season we were kind of looking at and questioning. Their reign in the small division ended, losing to Cherubusco in the regular season. But this is a team that's gotten healthier. They have Lincoln Carter now at quarterback. And it has worked out. And Eastside has been able to really turn things around the second half of the year. They get the win over Prairie Heights on the road last night and set up that showdown with Adams Central next week.
And moving over to Class 1A sectional 43, Southern Wells beaten by Triton 61-6. North Miami a 35-7 winner over Fremont, eliminating them now at 4-7. But the big story over here in 1A is sectional 44, where South Adams wins a shootout against Tri, 43-32. South Adams now 6-5 on the season. Tri exits at 7-4.
Guys, this game was 32-7 Tri at halftime. I mean, one more, a couple more scores by Tri, and we have running clock. Mm-hmm. And South Adams comes out in the second half and just says, we're going to go to the air. And they outscore Tri 36-0 in the second half. Titus Lehman throws for 297 yards, 4 touchdowns. All 4 touchdowns were the final 4 scores of the game. 3 of those touchdown passes going to Caden Neuenschwander. Of any story last night, this one takes the cake in terms of South Adams digging the hole that they dug for themselves in the first half and then coming back in the second half. And I jokingly sent Grant Mosier a text last night and I said, well, what did you tell your team at halftime? Did you tell them you were going to resign at the end of the game and go coach behind Brent Kunkel at Bluffton like Coach Kolkman did at Heritage? And so that's exactly what I said. But whatever they did at halftime definitely worked because South Adams turned it on and really shocked the fans at Tri, who thought they were sitting pretty with a 25-point halftime lead, only to fall by 11 to South Adams 43-32.
Oh, for sure. Now South Adams will take on 10-1 Madison Grant by virtue of Madison Grant's 45-14 win over Hagerstown. And those are the scores from last night in sectional championship matchups. And, Justin, I mean, okay, now I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here. Who do you think has the best chance to get to Lucas Oil Stadium?
Best chance as we look at it right now. You look at sectional 19 and you look at the winner of East Noble and Dwenger as potentially that team, because the sectional, I believe, they won't play each other. So they won't play 19 and 20. And you look at it, and the North in 4A, usually Northwood is really powerful. They're kind of down. Mishawaka is still that team. But you're missing, the South is loaded in 4A. When you look at New Pal and you look at Chittard and you look at Wrights and you look at even Martinsville, it's loaded in the South. So I really think maybe the winner of that East Noble Bishop Dwenger game has the best chance. I also look at Adams Central. Unfortunately, at some point, probably semi-state, you're going to run into Lafayette Central Catholic, a team you didn't have to worry about in 1A. So right now I'm kind of looking at 4A as maybe that opportunity. And who knows about 3A? You look at Garrett, West Noble, Bishop Luers. Those are a trio of really powerful teams. There's nobody maybe outside of Knox that really is terrifying in 3A. So I would say the 4A, maybe the winner of East Noble and Bishop Dwenger in 4A has a shot to get to state. And then 3A, I'm going to say somebody, either Garrett or Bishop Luers, have a chance to make it in 3A.
Okay. Well, yeah, there's a lot of talent, a lot of great teams that are vying for one of those spots from Northeast Indiana. So let's see what happens here. Well, Justin, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thank you for heeding the warning about last night. Good for you as a hubby. And we will talk to you next Saturday.
All right, fellas. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
All right. That was Justin Kenny from OPS and OutsideTheHuddle.net in our weekly recap of the high school football games. And let's take a look. Blake Sebring's book, Fort Wayne Sports History. In 1952, the Fort Wayne Pistons drew 5,683 fans for their first regular season game in Memorial Coliseum. So that was some moons ago. And no, DC, I was not there.
Okay, did you have something else to do that day, or?
Wow. I thought I was going to head you off at the pass about your old jokes. Then you end up slipping one in there at the end.
Had something better to do that day?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I did. I had buggy duty.
Oh, okay.
Never mind. Oh. I was going to say turn off his microphone, but he's the one that controls him. Anyway. And then I've got another Fort Wayne Sports History for Shane Albahrani when he comes on a little bit later on in the show.
Nice.
But also in 1960, Everett Scott passes away in Parkview Hospital. Besides setting a major league record with 1,307 consecutive games played, the Bluffton native had several other highlights during his baseball career. He played in 5 World Series with Boston in 15, 16, and 18. And then in 22 and 23 with New York, he was a starter on 4 teams that won the series. Speaking of New York, they played.
Didn't get it done.
Boy, didn't. Oh, man.
Real quick, though, how many games did you say he played consecutive?
1,307.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a lot. No, somebody these days would never.
Back then.
You can't even go to a game these days and get tickets without worrying about someone sitting out.
Yeah. Oh, healthy.
That's impressive.
Healthy scratch was not in his vocabulary. That's for sure. But, and then also in 2007, Ralph Hamilton and Dee Dee Nathan are inducted into the Indiana Athletics Hall of Fame, and they are both from South Side. They were Archer greats in athletics, and as was D.C. Hendricks.
I was great at what?
You were an archer, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say I wasn't great at anything. I was just an archer.
An archer ball player.
Yeah, I was okay, I guess.
Fine.
Shout out to Archers.
In some of the other scores from last night, the Fort Wayne Komets beat the KC Mavericks on the road by a score of 4-1. Justin Taylor, a couple of goals for the K's. Brett Brochu, 16 saves and 17 attempts. They'll play again tonight, 7:30. They will be home next Saturday night, Military Appreciation Night against Kalamazoo. But we'll be talking to Shane Albahrani just a little bit later on in the show and get his take on how they looked last night. Bouncing back from last Saturday defeat at the hands, I believe, of Kalamazoo and giving up 9 goals. So also the Pacers were beaten last night by the New Orleans Pelicans, 125-118. In NBA basketball, that drops their record to 2-4. 7 Pacers, though, were in double figures. Tyrese Halliburton, double-double with 11 points and 11 assists. The Pacers back in action Monday night in Dallas. Also, a friend of the show, Steve Warden, Pulitzer Prize winning writer for the Fort Wayne newspapers, for the Journal-Gazette, for the News Sentinel, years and years and years of coverage. And does he have stories. In fact, that guy should write a book. Oh, wait, he did. And that is just now coming out. It's on Amazon. And congratulations to Steve. The only drawback to a book is that he's not telling the stories himself to you, verbalizing him. Oh, because his stories, he's quite the storyteller anyway. But just so many of the stories that he had when he's come in here and talked with us on Talkin Sports about his Bob Knight and Harry Carey encounters were just awesome. So congratulations. And we will have Steve come in and talk with us about that book as well. How about Stephanie White, DC? Back with the Fever, played with them, obviously missed basketball from Seeger back in the day, and how she got here was one of the worst kept secrets, I guess, in sports. But she is now.
You mean tampering that all professional sports do?
Was that? No.
They all do it. Come on. Let's not be naive.
The behind the scenes negotiations that go on.
Yeah.
Would
for sure
dazzle.
She's coming off back-to-back semifinal appearances, and a team decides not to let her go, or not to bring her back. And she goes back to her hometown team. Like there's nothing happening behind the scenes there. But you know what? I'm going to be a homer in this position because I am more than happy to bring a head coach like Stephanie White back to the Indiana Fever, a growing franchise who obviously has the star in Caitlin Clark. And not even just her. Like they have pretty much a big three built with Aaliyah Boston as well, and hopefully Kelsey Mitchell's back. Assuming she will be, because her and Clark are going to games together and kicking it. So assuming she's coming back, but a big three to build around for the future. You get a coach in there that has been there, obviously have won and brought a winning culture to the Fever already. She has, you know how we are here in Indiana. We love basketball. Huge hire.
She does. So the text line's open at 260-447-8500. Had a text that came in. Says Shovlin DC checking in this morning from South Point Casino in Vegas. DC, any hot picks for today, Mr. Vegas?
Whoa, Mr. Vegas. First of all, if you win, since you texted in this morning, I feel like we get a cut. If you win today,
then it'll stop checking in.
Yeah, well, just give me a little cut. No big hot picks today. I mean, I'm just looking forward to Ohio State, Penn State. I haven't made up my mind yet on who I'm going to pick. I hopefully should make that decision by the end of the show. It's still a little early, so I'm still waking up a little bit.
But who would you be cheering for if you were there?
If I was there, Penn State. Definitely a big Nittany Lions fan. Ohio State, I think Indiana could beat Ohio State, honestly. If they faced each other right now, I think Indiana's the better team, 100%. I think Penn State wins. Off the top of my head, I'll make my official decision at the end of the show. I just think Ohio State is going to struggle. Will Howard has struggled this year. You know, a guy that was on the Heisman list, before the season started. He really struggles under pressure. He's like 22% with his completion percentage when he's under pressure. And Penn State's going to be all over him today. So I got Penn State, Mr. Vegas, if you want to throw a little bit on something on that. I didn't tell you. Don't get it from me if you lose, but I got Penn State.
Okay, there we go. And I hope he's still listening. Yeah, there we go. All right, we're going to go ahead and step out, take a break. And then when we come back, we're going to be talking with Mike McCaffrey, athletic director at the University of St. Francis, in our weekly Cougar Chat. What a game last week. And all kinds of sports going on now over at Cougarland. So we'll talk to Mike about everything that's going on with the Cougs, and we'll do all that when we return. You're listening to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM.
How do you thank the people that add so much to our lives? How do you celebrate a community that brings out the best in all of us? You give back. In 2022, McMahon's Best One gave more than $100,000 to local organizations that are always there to lift us up, to listen, to strengthen us, every one of us. Throughout the year, McMahon's Best One will continue to give back to the community that has given so much to us, bringing out the best in each other, together.
This is Kevin Harlan from Monday Night Football on Westwood One. We'll have great matchups all season long on the road to the playoffs and Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. Join Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner and me for one of the NFL's great traditions, Monday Night Football on Westwood One.
On 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM, or stream anywhere on your 1380 The Fan app.
I am an American veteran. I'm proud to have served this country. Helping veterans is something all Americans can participate in, and it's as simple as donating an old car that you have sitting around. When you call the Veteran Car Donation Program, they'll explain how their program works, and then arrange a time they can come and pick up your vehicle for free. Running or not, it doesn't matter. They take cars, trucks, motorcycles, or vans. Show your support by donating your car and get a tax deduction in the process. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program right now. They'll come and pick your car up for free, and you'll get a tax deduction in the process. Call the number we're about to give you right now. Thank you, and God bless America.
800-882-2093. 800-882-2093. 800-882-2093. That's 800-882-2093.
Confidence. It can go a long way for a man. It can help you land that job, close the deal, or maybe even connect with someone special. If you truly want to have confidence, it starts with looking your best. That's why you shop at Christopher James Menswear. Right now, all the fall fashions are arriving. New styles coming in daily at Christopher James Menswear now. The finest in suits, sport coats, sportswear, denim, and shoes. Christopher James Menswear in Covington Plaza on West Jefferson, 1 block west of Getz.
In the past 4 years, only one independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer in the Midwest has been awarded the Building a Higher Standard Distinguished Dealer Award, Gibson's Heating and Plumbing. From their start over 40 years ago, Gibson's Heating and Plumbing has built their family business to serve your family with the very best team. See it for yourself. When you read their Google reviews, over 2,000 and growing, you can read on their website and experience it for yourself. When you contact Independent American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning Dealer, GibsonsHeating.com. That's GibsonsHeating.com.
Now back to Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Welcome back to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One. Along with DC Hendricks, I'm Jim Shovlin. Thanks for tuning in. We're talking local sports of all sorts until 10 o'clock. And then it's Fighting Irish Preview with Phil Houck and Tim Priester, giving you all the info you need to, be a fan or not of Notre Dame Fighting Irish football. Let's go to the Talkin Sports phone line, powered by Fire Police City County Federal Credit Union, because on that line is the athletic director at the University of St. Francis, Mr. Mike McCaffrey. Mike, good morning. It's game day.
Good morning, Jimmy. How are you, sir?
I am great this morning. Looking forward to getting over to Darcy Stadium in a little while and watching St. Francis. Let's put it that way.
St. Francis versus St. Francis. Guaranteed victory today, right?
How about that? Yeah. We've got the Cougars against the Fighting Saints. And lest you think it's the Saint like at Bishop Dwenger. No. This is like a Saint Bernard, I believe, is their mascot, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yep.
So should be an interesting game today as well. But I'll tell you what, let's first, before we get to this, let's talk about last week at Marion and what unfolded there with Austin De Leon.
Yeah, it was a big game for us down at Marion. Obviously, every year that game always gets circled on the schedules, and has been a big rivalry for us for several years. And to go down to Indianapolis, fall behind, I think it was 21-0, and then come all the way back and tie it up at 28 when so driving down saw it on Sports Center. I think it was number 3 or 4 on Sports Center. Jared Almeida, our center, catches a ball that gets tipped twice and falls right into his breadbasket at the 2-yard line and walks into the end zone for a game-tying touchdown. And set up our defense to make a stop on the very next possession. So had the ball with about 1:40, 2 minutes left. Drove about 30, 40 yards down the field. Got a big first down to Avante Vickers, and that set up our super freshman, Austin De Leon from Norwell, to come on and boot it through and give us a 31-28 victory. It was, defense really stepped up in the second half. Obviously, holding them to 7 points in the second half was a big accomplishment for us, and really just kind of controlled the game in the second half, and was able to make some plays on offense with Josh Kolka throwing it around, and then ended up getting the big kick at the end to win it. So set ourselves up now. We're 2-0 in the division, and today is a big game. St. Francis comes in ranked 19th and tied with us. We're both 2-0 at the top of the division, so we're both coming in looking for probably the chance to lock up a playoff spot if we can win the division. We've got 2 more games after this we would have to win, but this is the highest ranked team left on our schedule. So if we get the win today, we put ourselves in good position to finish off with St. X and Olivet Nazarene at the end, and hopefully we can slide in and steal a playoff spot.
Yeah, and it looks to be a beautiful day for football. Temperatures in the upper 50s, low 60s, and dry. So,
the sun is shining. It's nice out.
Yeah. So get on out there if you haven't already been, or if you have been. Hey, why aren't you going back? Come on, get out there. And you were talking about the game last Saturday as well. Josh Kolka, 34 of 45, 267 yards, 3 touchdowns on the day. And in looking at the summary and the box score, he threw to no less than 10 different receivers. That is incredible.
Yeah, he's got a plethora of weapons. And you start on the outside with the wide receivers and Avante Vickers and A.J. Dandridge, and then Crosley McKeechin and McCall Ray. And then obviously we throw to our running backs a little bit, so whether that's Lenny Bennett or David Smith or Hassan Lambert, Drew Wheat, Brian Walsh. And then we've got Eli Patchett, our kind of H-back tight end type that catches some passes. So, yeah, I mean, he does a great job of spreading the ball around. He finds the guy that's open on the play and makes it. And obviously you see his completion percentage is pretty high, and he's throwing a lot of touchdowns and not making a lot of mistakes. So he's ever since we put him in the lineup, our team has been playing pretty well. So he's going to have to play another great game today so we can get that victory and hopefully continue his hot streak. Yes, indeed.
And turning to basketball, both Cougar teams, the men and the women, have gotten started, and I think the men are starting out 2-0, aren't they?
They are, yeah. Got a nice one yesterday over Lawrence Tech. One earlier in the week, went down to IU Columbus, got that win, and then came back last night, played up in Madonna, a little classic tournament that they have up there, beat Lawrence Tech last night, turn around today. We got to play Madonna, who's a really good team. We'll probably have a pretty good idea of just how good we are today playing against them because they're a really good basketball team. But, yeah, good to start off 2-0. Good to see contributions from up and down the lineup. Everybody seems to be playing well. We're healthy, which is the biggest thing. That's kind of what's derailed us the last couple of years. But everybody's healthy right now. We've got some good freshmen mixed with a couple transfers, and then the guys coming back in Brandon Northern and Isaiah Malone and Zane Burke and Luke Almondovar. And right now Chad's got them playing really well. So we're going to hopefully get another one today, finish up 3-0 on the week, and then get ready to come back home next Wednesday, I believe.
And Jeremy Henney's Lady Cougars got off on a good start as well.
Yeah, up at Cornerstone. Well, we played Cornerstone. They're up at Goshen. again in another tournament. So we took care of Cornerstone yesterday and then turn around and play again today. But, yeah, it's good to get these kind of 2-day tournaments out of the way early, get some games in, see where you're at. But, yeah, Jeremy's got a pretty good team. I mean, they're ranked 22nd in the preseason poll and picked to finish second in the Crossroads League. So not going to surprise anybody. Everybody's going to see us coming, and they know that we've got some talent to do some things. So they've just got to play well, again, stay healthy, and keep doing what we do.
We're talking this morning with Mike McCaffrey, athletic director at the University of St. Francis, in our weekly Cougar Chat. And let's talk men's soccer. The men's soccer team is now qualified for Crossroads League tournament play.
Yeah, got in as the 8th seed. Had to win our last 2, and we did. Took care of business, got in as the 8th seed in the conference tournament, so we'll go down to Huntington on Wednesday for the opening round quarterfinals of the Crossroads League tournament. We played Huntington pretty well when we were down there during the season, so I think if there's a matchup that we like, even though you go in as the 8th seed, we think we can play with Huntington and think we can play them pretty tough and maybe get an upset in the first round. But, yeah, they got in, and then the women got in as the 5 seed and on their side, so they'll go to Indiana Wesleyan on Wednesday and open up the Crossroads League tournament, and then cross-country championships are next Friday down at Taylor. So busy week, full crossover season in effect, and everybody seems to be competing right now. Volleyball's got 2 matches left today and Wednesday, and then they'll see if they can get into the conference tournament. They need to probably win 1 out of 2 and get some help. But everybody's doing what they have to do, taking care of business, still playing, so it's a fun time.
Mike had a text that just came in on the text line at 260-447-8500. It says, is there any way to watch a replay of the USF Marion game?
I don't think so because it was pay-per-view on Indiana Sports Channel. You might be. I don't know how ISC works across the state of Indiana. I know I had the app on my TV, but it was a pay-per-view, so I don't know if they replay those on ISC or not. Mm-hmm. But that's where you go check. Go check the ISC, Indiana Sports Channel app or network, however you can find it. And they may put replays up on there. I honestly have no idea if they do or not. But I know you did have to pay to watch it, so there's probably a good chance that it's not up there. But that's where you'd have to go check.
Okay. So if somebody wants to come out to the game today, how do they get tickets?
They can do it online on their way, or they can get tickets at the gate. We take cash at the gate, no credit cards, but if they want to save time, jump online, go to the ticket tab on the top of our website and get your tickets for $10 or $5, depending on if you're an adult or a student or a senior. And then, again, if you want to just get them at the gate, you can get them there too.
Okay. And just a personal question. Senior Day is next week, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have your pronunciation guide ready.
Yes, indeed. It's always a challenge, but always a lot of fun. So enjoy that. Well, Mike, I will see you shortly, and for the listeners, we'll talk to you again next week.
Sounds great. Thanks, Jim. Have a great weekend.
All right. That was Mike McCaffrey, athletic director at the University of St. Francis. Now we come back and let's talk to Shane Albahrani. Let's try to get in touch with Shane Albahrani. He's out in Kansas City right now at a game with the Komets and Mavericks last night that the K's won 4-1, and so he should be exuberant. Already have breakfast already taken care of, I would imagine. I think he's an hour behind us, but yeah. He looks like an early riser, so probably had to call home and talk to his dog Sheriff and get things all straightened out there and recap the game with Sheriff. So anyway, let's take a break. We'll be back with more. You're listening to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM. If you looked at your auto or homeowner's insurance rate lately, think it's about time to get a competitive quote? Call the Wise Insurance Agency today at 260-747-5373. Located at 7410 Bluffton Road, Wise Insurance is a local company that's been in business for 25 years. Being an independent agent working with over 15 A-plus rated carriers allows Coach Ron Wise to assess your needs and determine the best option for you to give you maximum coverage with the most affordable premiums. The Wise Wise Insurance Agency also offers motorcycle, RV, and watercraft insurance, as well as renter's insurance, flood, and umbrella policies. Multi-policy discounts are also available, and make sure to ask Ron about the good student discount up to 20%. Let Coach Wise show you the fundamentals of getting the right insurance. Don't put it off. Contact Coach Ron and the Wise Insurance Agency team today at 260-747-5373 or find them online at thewiseinsuranceagency.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code HYBRID to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code HYBRID for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code HYBRID for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Co Heating and Air Conditioning, your independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, one family owned and still going strong for 60 years. Decade after decade, Co Heating and Air has been known for providing quality heating and cooling services that ensure your family stays comfortable year-round. That's no accident. That's a legacy of customer care, excellence, and relationships that have endured from generation to generation. Go with who you know. Go with Co. Proud to be your American Standard dealer. Find them at coheatcool.com today.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I like a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Now back to Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Welcome back to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One. That's DC Hendricks. I'm Jim Shovlin. Thanks for tuning in as we're talking local sports of all sorts till the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. And then it's Fighting Irish Preview with the Judge Phil Houck and America's foremost authority on Notre Dame Fighting Irish football, Tim Priester, as they give you everything you need to know about the Fighting Irish. Let's go to the Talkin Sports phone line because on that, powered by Fire Police City County Federal Credit Union, is none other than Fort Wayne Komet broadcaster, Mr. Shane Albahrani. Shane, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jimmy.
Well, from Kansas City, of course. The game last night won by the Komets 4-1. Justin Taylor, a couple of goals for the K's, and not against the K's as used to be the case, but now in the orange and black. Oh, and by the way, okay, this is kind of a did you know that on this date, Shane, in 1963, no jokes, DC, the Komets display orange, black, and white as their official colors for the very first time.
Oh, wow, I did not know that. That's a gem right there.
I'll tell you what, that's straight from Blake Sebring's book, Fort Wayne Sports History. So, and if Blake says it,
it's got to be true.
It's gospel. Yeah, yes, indeed. But, and of course, the game last night, won by the Komets. I was able to catch a little bit of it, not dominating fashion, but still got a lead and never relinquished.
Yeah, no, it was impressive. Kansas City came in at 4-0. They are the defending Western Conference champions. They had the best record in the league last year, and they really want to. They're hungry because they did not win the cup, and the team they put together is almost as good as it was last year. So for the Komets to come here on the road and put in a performance like that, it was wonderful. It's great to see, and a great bounce back. The Komets, they got hammered 9-2 on their home ice, a week prior. And it was going to be real interesting to see how they bounce back, especially against a team this good. Man, the Komets really came to play last night. They limited Kansas City to 17 shots, and that's a team that was averaging almost 40 a game. So really impressive last night.
Yeah, and Brett Brochu, 16 of those saves. So, yeah. Now, Jack Dugan, I saw in the summary this morning in the Journal-Gazette, it showed him with 2 assists, but then I read that he had assists on all 4 goals. Is that correct?
Yeah, they're going to have to change that scoring. I believe that is correct. I know he had at least 3, and then I believe he did assist on that one, the final one from Connor Corcoran. So there'll be some scoring changes from our coaches. I actually texted down to Olivier Legault in the second intermission saying, hey, I think Dugan should have 3 assists. Make sure that we get that fixed. So I'm sure that'll be fixed up. But Jack Dugan coming into this weekend, I had even said during the pregame that, hey, he was the team's leading scorer, but he's awful quiet, only 1 point in 4 games. And right now he had 2 assists officially, but I think he's going to get 4 in the 1 game last night.
And, of course, once again, tonight in KC, 7:05 puck drop. And where can the fans hear the game?
You know what? We switched over to a new radio station or a 96.3 XKE FM.
All right. Now, let's talk about road trips. Now, you we're in Kansas City last night for the game and tonight for the game. When does the bus pull out of Memorial Coliseum and head? I mean, what is an itinerary like for you when you travel with the team like this?
Yeah, it kind of depends. We flew here, which was nice.
Oh, okay.
We left the Coliseum about 6 a.m. Wednesday morning. Bussed to Indianapolis and caught our flight, and we were here by about 1 o'clock Wednesday. So we kind of had even though it was a very long day, everyone pretty much was up around 4:30 a.m. To catch that bus. But to be able to get here, at 1 o'clock and just kind of relax, and we all had a team dinner Wednesday night, and then Thursday we had a full practice, and I think it really kind of paid off having that extra day and that full day of practice here in Kansas City, and played the game last night, and it went our way. How does the equipment travel? Well, the equipment, flies with us, but when we get here, usually we have to rent a box truck to get all the gear to the arena. That's when we fly. When we bus, we actually have a trailer that goes behind us on these long bus trips. So the equipment guys work so hard. Skylar and Billy, I don't know how they do it, but they get the job done. Now let's take a look at the Western Conference Central Division standings. Of course, the Komets off to a 4-1 start through 5 games with 8 points. But then you got the Toledo Walleye, 6 games, 4-1-1. I mean, you can't shake these guys that are 100 miles away. It's frustrating. To me, it's frustrating. Yeah, well, it's a great rivalry, and these two teams are going to match up really well together. We're going to see them for the first time next Friday in Toledo. But, you can't discount Kalamazoo. They're still undefeated. I don't know where this group came from because, they started signing guys very late in the summer. So they got a late start to things. So the fact that they're this good is actually very impressive. So you could have one heck of a 3-team race if it all works out the way it is with these 3 teams that all 3 hate each other. So, it would be a great race the rest of the year if we're able to maintain this all the way through. And it looks like the schedule is going to allow the Komets to return home briefly. And it looks like that's going to be next Saturday night on the 9th. And that's against Kalamazoo, and that's also Military Appreciation Night. What's in store there? Yeah, it's Komets are going to be wearing specialty jerseys, compliments of All-American stores, and I think we're going to have the giant American flag from Glenbrook Dodge unfurled there during the national anthem. And, if you're a veteran, if active military, you can buy one, get one free tickets at the Coliseum ticket office. And, of course, Adam Dagger from All American Stores will be there, and he will be collecting for his charity, Mission Fill the Boot, that goes to help local veterans. So it's always a good night. Komets, again, those specialty jerseys are really cool. Check them out on the Komets website. They're for sale as well. So, Military Appreciation Night against Kalamazoo, and then the next weekend after that, we got 2 games on the road at Kalamazoo. So the Central Division could get real interesting the next couple weeks.
It could indeed. And then going back to the All-American Stores, Adam Dagger, my gosh, that guy contributes to more causes, I think, than just about anybody I know. And we're all appreciative of that. But through his All-American Stores that are all throughout the area. But that guy will step up in a moment's notice, and that's much appreciated. But yeah, well, enjoy once again 7:05 puck drop tonight for the Komets, and hey, let's see if we can't get another dub against the Mavericks and show that hey, Komets are one of the elite in the ECHL this year.
Yeah, it's been a big test. Again, dominant performance. But I'm sure Kansas City is going to be ready for us tonight. So this one's going to be a good one. And plus, someone by the name of Diamond Hands is going to be in the lineup for Kansas City tonight.
Oh, nice. Okay, so the glove is coming off the other hand. Okay, I see. All right. Well, Shane, thank you for joining us, and we'll talk to you next Saturday.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jimmy.
All right. That was Shane Albahrani, play-by-play voice of the Fort Wayne Komets, in our weekly Komet Chat, and that's going to do it for Talkin Sports. Many thanks to Justin Kenny from OPS and OutsideTheHuddle.net. Also, Mike McCaffrey, Athletic Director at the University of St. Francis, and Shane Albahrani, who we just talked to. Thanks for the text that came in. Thanks to DC Hendricks for always keeping it smooth and professional. We appreciate him immensely. Thanks to you, the listener, for tuning in each and every Saturday morning. That's what keeps us doing this. So, until next Saturday, have a great week, everybody.
Podcasts by Federated Media.